Hey, how you guys doing? It's the producer from Brothers Comics. Welcome to the Dey Over 40 podcast for long time, long suffering Cincinnati Bengals fans. Day, everybody. Uh, it's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you. Blah 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 blah.
Life be
All
life.
that.
And
Yeah, on the line is Big Hush. Hush, tell me what's happening, man.
hey, what's up? What's up?
So the subline here is Dey Over 40 versus the 25-26 season. This is our kickoff show for the season. Who knows if you will see us after this, to be perfectly honest with you, because pretty much that's what happened last season. So if you're following on YouTube, you're gonna be like, where the hell have y'all been? Last year at this time, I was super excited. I think we had done a series of shows, going into the preseason, at least post draft, Hodge, and it felt at the time like, you know what, the Bengals are, you might have some concerns or whatever, but coming off Joe Burrow's the wrist injury, he's coming back. Like it didn't feel like the bottom was gonna fall out. Would that be fair?
So I was hoping and praying and wishing that he's coming back from his injury, but he doesn't have some type of his appendix ain't falling out or something wasn't happening to start the season out. So and we play the Patriots, so we definitely go start the season off 1-0.
Yeah, exactly. And at the time, for fathers, like we had set somewhat of an annual tradition that's going to stop this year of me and both of my kids last year. We wound up going to the season opener, opening in orange or whatever. If you're on YouTube, you can see me rocking my Mike Gesicki shirt today. And it was like, yeah, man, we got our orange shirts, flew up to Cincinnati, going to this game, to playing the Patriots, who are ass awful. They're definitely going to win. Hit the Ohio State game the night before. Watch them score a good 50 bazillion points against some directional school. Like, man, this is it. Sunday morning, wake up, hit the Bengal gym, tailgate. Man, this is going to be the start of something. We would say that we was in on the ground floor, Hutch. And, man, 3.5 hours later, I don't know if I've ever been that angry, Hutch, from spending money, basically.
Right, it's the spending the money part. It's one thing to lose. It's another thing to be like, not only did we lose, but I only dropped dollars,
Dollars.
big dollars.
Yeah, so, and I'm like, and I dropped dollars, and the continuation of that story, then it got worse trying to fly back to Florida. My plane got diverted to Dallas, like on some bullshit. It was just a mess. And that should have been a sign like, hey, man, this season is all jacked up. And that game was really a precursor to why you didn't hear us podcasting, because there was really no point. The defense was bad from the beginning, where the Patriots ran for 50 bazillion yards and embarrassed the Bengals in Cincinnati. And then the initial start of the season, Hutch, was just an absolute embarrassment on defense. Average quarterbacks, good quarterbacks, everybody was shining on the Cincinnati's defense.
That game was a precursor of bad things to come. But the game that sticks in my head, and it still sticks in my head, and I can't get rid of it, is that freaking Denver game where we actually won, but on fourth and everything on the
24.
line.
Yes, 4th and 24.
Right, on everything on the line, 4th and 24, the freaking Bo Nix, who was awful at 3 different schools in college, comes into whatever, throws up this Heck Mary, and between 2 Bengal defenders, this dude comes down with the ball and scored.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Well, they start off 1-5, and then what it has been a
1-4.
Was it 1-4? What has been a standard really of the Bengals under Zach Taylor. They wind up closing out the season and winning the last 5 games, finish 9-8 again, no losing season again for Joe Burrow. And it's like, damn. I mean, and again, they were playing much better at the end of the season. Don't get me wrong, but the defense was still ass. They just happened to have a run of bad quarterbacks that they were getting a chance to feast on,
Right.
and that it's the dead cat bounce that we talk about all the time here. The Bengals finished strong. We don't really need to change anything, but luckily they didn't. They fired defensive coordinator Lou Amaruno as the scapegoat, essentially. And, over the course of the offseason, they make some different hires or whatever. But, like, that's why y'all hadn't seen us. Like, there was nothing, even when they were winning, there was nothing really good to talk about because of all the bad that had happened prior to that point.
Right there, right. You kind of knew that. I mean, we probably knew in December that we were done.
Right.
Even if we had to win out, and things had to happen, all kinds of things had to happen for us to make the playoffs. And we won out the last 5 games, and we still had no shot, or basically no shot.
Yeah, well, I mean, conspiracy brother Jones, the Chiefs laid down. I don't think the Chiefs wanted the Bengals in the playoffs. I don't think a lot of people did. I mean, what we're saying about how bad the offense was or the defense was, the offense, or particularly Joe Burrow, was equally as good. I mean, the 2 losses to Baltimore are definitely not, both winnable games, whatever. The Chargers lost. Our freaking kicker loses his mind and can't make a fucking kick. Like, there was just everything that could go wrong did.
Right.
Which is the opposite of what had happened in the 2 seasons that were Super Bowl and AFC Championship game, whereas everything that could go wrong or could go right did. And, it's just the law of averages after a while once the talent is so close. And the talent just caught up to the defense. They were just bad, poorly constructed. And even though we have the NFL sack leader with Trey Hendrickson or whatever, it's still a bottom 5 defense at the end of the year, and then you can't consistently win games that way, and you only got the 9-8 because Burrow had an MVP-like season.
Right. And Zach Taylor, I believe, in his 6 seasons at the Natty, the first 2 games of the year, he's like 1-11.
Correct. Yes, they're 1-11 to start, and it's not good. So when we do get to the offseason here for the Bengals, they fire Lou Amaruno, they bring in Al Golden, fresh off, running 0 coverage on Jeremiah Smith in the freaking championship game.
Right.
I'm just like, what are we doing here? I mean, again, we don't have Ohio State podcast, but that's a bad defensive call. But ain't no world, especially under Ryan Day, that I thought they were going to throw the ball in that situation. But anyway, I'm sure he played the averages and didn't think he was going to do that either. But They hire Al Golden, they run off Lou, and then they go into the offseason and start to, pair off some of these old dudes that shouldn't have been on the team anymore,
They were
primarily
playing up to their contract for sure.
Right, primarily Jermaine Pratt. They get rid of Ohio State. What's this? The former safety now.
Damn. That boom.
Montvale, Sam Hubbard retires.
He was going to get. He would have got kicked off if he didn't.
Well, yeah, or he would have. Yeah, had to take a massive pay cut. And so they go through this process of trying to rebuild the defense because
on the cheap.
Right. Well, and we know this too because they have freaking drafted people on defense, and then not really played them. It's the Marvin principle again. You're still running out freaking Michael Johnson and Domata Peko. It's like you drafted these young dudes to play, then you don't play them to get experience, and the old dudes are shot. And now you have all these young defensive players now for the Bengals, which they had wanted to do, knowing what they were going to do in the offseason, which we'll talk about here in a second. Like, hey, we got to get these young dudes on the field and playing. And, if we're going to spend all of our money on offense. So that's kind of where we are, really, heading into the draft or whatever. That's where the Bengals were. Pairing off a lot of these old cats and letting these cats that they had already drafted come in and start playing. All right. So that's where we're doing.
Is Miles okay? Can we talk about Miles Murphy?
We're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. All right. So yeah, so we jump into the offseason after Lou gets sacked. The big thing was, what are we going to do with T. Higgins? What about T. Higgins? T. Higgins, T. Higgins. He had already just played this past year on the franchise tag. It had been relatively assumed that he was going to leave. You know, his
I was
agent,
already adios, muchacho.
yeah, his agent was, whatever. They drafted Jermaine Burton in the third round, but he was an absolute insane person his first year, so
Hell
you
yeah.
obviously couldn't count on that. And so he never wanted to leave. Like that was the thing. He never wanted to leave Cincinnati, which is probably
He wanted to get paid.
right. And
Right.
but yeah, but I don't think he ever really wanted to leave.
Right.
And then, Joe Burrow, probably rightfully so, and probably even could do even more so. He starts to exert pressure onto the Bengals and the front office staff.
Right.
He's like, yeah, T is essential. This is after the Dallas game. T is essential. Jamar is essential, obviously. Gasecki is essential. Trey is essential. Like he puts it out there, like these people are the people that you're going to pay, that that are performing to their contracts that you want to bring back. So T fires his agent and hires Jamar Chase's agent, and essentially they work out a thing where it's like, well, if he's here, I'm here. We're going to be here together, and they work this out, and they sign both of them back to contracts. They'll both be here, for a very long time into their 30-year-old seasons, and then everything gets goofy in the NFL. What did you think about? Was it a surprise they both signed? They both got paid too. I know you didn't want to pay two wide receivers, but
right.
What were your thoughts?
Right. This is the horse head and the dude's bed in The Godfather. The Joe Burrow is the Godfather, and right, he got this deal. He got this deal done.
Agreed.
So basically, we got 3 players for $140 million or some crazy number.
Well, I don't think that's their official cap hits based on whatever, but they are guaranteed a whole bunch of money that the Bengals have already paid out or will pay out. So if that was the strategy, and which is what we've been saying, all right, if you're going to put your money on offense, that means you're going to have to draft defense and hit on defense. They were drafting defense. The hits or misses are really, it's kind of up in the air because Lou wouldn't play them, and so now this is the first opportunity where some of those young dudes are going to get an opportunity to play, and it's directly tied back to essentially these two contracts. And yes, so on the defensive line, Max Murphy's his brother. Sorry, Miles Murphy getting a chance. Dax Hill coming off an ACL, getting back out there as a chance to play as well. CTB, all the cornerbacks, which we're going to talk about on a later slide here. The linebackers, when you run Pratt off, you run Mike Hilton off, he's shot. But Pratt gets run off, you bring back Logan Wilson, but you draft 2 linebackers. They are like, this is the way, okay? And now you have to see if it's actually going to get put together under, the system by Al Golden. That's pretty much it. It's the thought of Lou, you've been around this and you military or whatever. After a while, the dude that yells all the time, that shit just gets old. Like it just does.
Everything gets old after a while.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's right. The shit gets old, and the other problem is on the other side of the field is a dude that is also making millions of dollars who's watching film, and his job is to find them weaknesses. And if you see the same people do the same thing and they do it for several years, you figure out how to get them.
Yeah, and listening to other podcasts or whatever during the course of the season, it was, people didn't know where to line up, like there was confusion about what they were supposed to do. People were a step slower, primarily Jermaine Pratt, Geno Stone, the safety they signed from Baltimore, the system wasn't right and he couldn't tackle. Like there was just everything that could go wrong did. And again, Lou's a scapegoat. I don't think he's got a bad coach or anything like that, but like it was probably just Colts? He did go to the Colts, but I think it's just probably time. It was just time. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's right. Everything is a cycle, and the cycle was up. that is the thing. And somebody we all know and love, that's the coach now. his seat is fairly warm.
It should be hot because he's not going to get a chance to fire another DC.
Nope.
Like if this doesn't work out and the defense is ass and they're 9-8 again or something like that, he's gonna get. I can't imagine he keeps that job.
Right. We have to make the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, I can't imagine he keeps that job with another 9-8 or worse. And he has to understand that. And I think
he knows.
And from watching the practice, they know they need to get off to a better start. They know, they're trying to. I think the accusation over the past couple of years at training camp that it was, Shea Cincinnati, that it was very light, very whatever, everybody's laid back. And then what they've been trying to do is ramp up the competition. And it has, if you've seen any of the videos, especially the defense, they are chippy, wordy, talking shit to these $100 million players, really trying to increase the competition so that when they do come out in Cleveland here in 6 or 7 weeks, that they are ready to play actual football. And we'll talk about preseason here when we get up, because this is game day week, to be fair. And so that's it. Yeah, those two contracts. They bring back Mike Gesicki on a 3-year deal as well. There were a couple of defensive signings. Joseph Osai comes back on a 1-year deal. Like those types of things. Money on offense, cheap on defense. This is the Chiefs formula as well.
It's the NFL's formula as well. Because I'm right. It's all offense all the time. Ain't nobody running out the 2002 Ravens or whatever. The Eagles are the best, probably have the best defense, but they got exposed at times too. Right. It's all offense all day. So it's arena league football.
Mm-hmm. All right. What you got against Myles Murphy?
I mean, he ain't played enough or something.
That's basically it. Yes, we're running out Sam Hubbard and he doesn't play. And it's just like, y'all drafted this dude in the first round. Like, play this man. Like, for real. Like, what are we doing?
Right. But then again, Sam Hubbard was not very good last year either.
Mm-hmm.
And it shouldn't have took too much to put anybody in over him.
Yeah, but he was also to be fair, Myles Murphy was injured last year as well. He got injured in camp. And he missed the first, I think, 4 games or something like that. So, yeah. He's going to get a chance.
Hurt now, too, right?
No, he's good. He's going to get a chance, a lot of chance. It wouldn't surprise me if he's starting, but we'll get to that, too. All right, so into the offseason, you get into the draft. We kind of hit on it a little bit. They get their signings in for those 3 offensive players. Joseph Osai, they bring in Oren Burks, or linebacker from the Eagles. They made some. People thought the Bengals were going to go crazy in free agency, and I don't know how many times we have to relive this every year. That's not going to happen. Like, everybody gets themselves excited. Oh, there's this offensive guard. There's this. Like, they're not going to do that. It's always C levels, maybe a B.
Aldi's. It's going to be right.
Yeah, maybe
a lion.
Yeah, maybe you show up in a 1B level free agent, but that's not what they do. And again, the Bengals haven't paid all this money, are definitely trying to, save money with these draft picks. So they go into the draft. Everybody, hey, you need guards. You got rid of Alex Kappa, Cordell Bosa. They were the worst 2 guards in the NFL last year based on all of those advanced nerd metrics. Right. They were the worst, and we were running both of them out there for 17 games. So they're both bad. Bolson is back, but they had him take a pay cut to be able to stay on the team. They go into the draft. Everybody's like, get a guard, get a guard, get a guard. They don't get a guard till round 3 and Dylan Fairchild out of University of Georgia. And then they draft another offensive lineman, I think, from Miami in the 5th round or something like that. They get Seth McLaughlin from The Ohio State University as an undrafted free agent, who is essentially a center only, even though they already have a center.
We had enough bad Ohio State centers.
Yeah, side brother topic. I got onto it with somebody about Seth McLaughlin the other day, and I'm not saying that he's going to be bad. And he was projected to be, like a 3rd round pick prior to the injury, something like that, which is fine. Right. Somebody was like, "Oh, he won the Remington Award." I'm like, the Bengals have had 3 dudes that win the Remington Award drafted as centers under Marvin, and they all sucked. They all freaking failed out of the league. The Remington Award is bullshit.
Let's keep it 1,000.
Let's go.
Let's keep it $1 million. Ohio State players that ain't wide receivers,
Mm,
when they get to the league,
yeah.
ain't great.
No, it's a little shaky at best.
Right.
Yeah.
There that dude that plays for the Saints that was number 2 pick overall,
Mm, yeah.
ain't, and
Average.
I was like, we could get him. We could get him. I'm
Yeah.
glad we didn't get him.
Yeah. I'll take him instead of Burrow. Oops. Yeah. I'm
No,
glad.
that would have been awful.
Yeah. All right.
Fuck. The
Yeah.
cornerbacks, all of them just be getting burnt.
Except for the one by the mistake by the Lake one's actually probably the best one, and he's about to age out. So
Right. So I mean, yeah. So the Ohio State players, we love them. I love them in the scarlet and gray. But when they get to the league, yeah.
I understood. So yeah, they draft Dylan Fairchild and essentially give him the starting left guard job over Cordell Volson. They signed Lucas Patrick from the Saints as a free agent, who's got guard center versatility, but probably to play right guard over Cody Ford, who was ass. And everybody's like, "Hey man, sign a guard, sign a guard." Now again, I am of this belief too. Maybe not to the extent of the Bengals. Your tackles are important, and they should probably be your highest paid offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
Paying guards $20 million a year is probably not a winning strategy overall. So that means you need to draft them and develop them. The Bengals can't do that, and that's a problem, which means you wind up having to overpay. And this is the issue because you can't have the two worst starting guards in the league and run them out there 17 times. And now you're going to run out a rookie and a journeyman and be like, okay, so it can't, essentially under the principle of it can't be worse. It could be.
It could be a lot worse.
Right.
And the center ain't great either.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to get to that in a minute. So, yeah. So they do get 2 probable starters in the draft, though. Demetrius Knight. And then there's the holdout with Shamar Stewart, the first round pick. You know, we talked about this in our group chat. I'm not somebody to defend billionaires in any way, shape, or form. Shamar Stewart had a dumb agent, which I think was a friend of his father's or something like, not a real agent, just somebody that came up with. And, it was offset language and, like, hey, if we're going to take the guarantees if you wind up doing something and going into jail. I mean, well, yeah, I would probably want some guarantees against that too. Even though there's no whatever with this dude as being that kind of person. He's supposed to be like just a regular stand-up kind of dude.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just standard NFL language in the contract, and that's what held him out. He misses minicamp, he misses mandatory minicamp, he misses rookie camp. He's there, but he doesn't participate. And the Bengals got shit on for that, and they probably shouldn't have, but they've earned the reputation to get shit on, basically.
Right. It's self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right. Yeah. Like you can't steal something 9 times and then not steal it the 10th and expect people to be like, well, not think that you didn't do it.
And you know what? I've come full circle on this shit. When I was younger, I was like, man, pay these dudes. I mean, they deserve it. They deserve it. And then here I am now being older and a little wiser in my pockets. And man, some of these motherfuckers don't deserve it.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how much you follow the NBA, but that league is a Ponzi scheme.
Baseball's a Ponzi scheme.
I agree with you too. The only league I think that's even close to being physically responsible, FIS, is the NHL. There's no way in hell. Nobody's watching the NBA. Yeah, they can put people in the arenas. There's no way that people should be making $60 million a year, no less. One player.
Right.
Where's that money coming from?
Right. Luke. Well, here's the thing. And now they're doing all these deferred checks and deferred shit.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm crazy to go watch a baseball game at $40 or if I'm cheap, $40-$50 a ticket and $20, $30 to park for 3 hours.
Yeah. No, and nobody's there anymore.
And basketball, I'm not. I mean, Trae Young making $40 million. I don't mess with that
Yeah,
either.
no. So the Bengals get, like I said, they get two starters. Probably Demetrius Knight, the linebacker out of I believe the UCF, going to start alongside of Logan Wilson.
Logan Wilson.
Nothing but good. Nothing but good that you hear about this particular kid, even though he was drafted late because he's older. And then Shamar Stewart is probably going to start, even though he missed the first 7 days of camp and all of that. If he doesn't start, the starter will probably wind up being Miles Murphy on the opposite side of the other defensive end that we're not going to talk about here for a second. But Shamar Stewart finally gets into camp, and and we'll talk about like ups and downs and highs and lows in the camp or whatever. But he tested higher than every other defensive end ever in the combine, except for that dude in Cleveland. So this ain't an athletic issue. It's just, can he put it together? That's it.
Can the Bengals staff
Help put it
put
together.
him in a position to succeed?
Right. Like, I mean, because if they got that dude, I mean, even if they got 75% of that dude at pick 17,
Probably need about
I mean,
85%. But yeah,
but you know what I'm saying? But if he's that, that's really good. So you have to, hope that that's the case, and hope that, the time off doesn't hold him back. I was watching with, the GOAT killer, the Bengals game in 2005 where they went into Pittsburgh and won. And like, Pollock ends the game essentially on a sack. And I was like, this was the moment we had waited for. He had missed so much of camp, and he had finally kind of gotten into shape, and the defense was playing well. And there was and you know why this came up? Uh, what somebody Odell Thurman's son plays for some team, like some college team that Benjamin was telling me about. That's how old we are.
I was thinking about that 2005 team, and I don't know why. I'm like, man, they were good.
Yeah, it was a missed opportunity. Yeah, and I mean, Pollock ends that game essentially, on that sack on Roethlisberger. It was third down, but it was that it put him out of any chance of trying to come back and win. But yeah, man, if he can be that dude, opposite of, as we just lead right into this conversation.
Damn.
Like
we are old, and Chris Henry's son's at Ohio State, right?
Well, next year, yeah.
Or next year,
yeah. Yeah, one season with him and Jermaine. Good luck, boy.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah. Boop, 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 boop. It's Dre Day, man, or Trade Day, or the trades of our lives, whatever way you want to look at it. So the Bengals cannot get through an offseason like, hey, we signed Jamar and T. Yes, we're doing it. We got a new defensive coordinator. We're doing it. Like, things are looking good, but there's always one, man. There's always
something.
Trey Henderson, after we want to talk about bad agents. The Bengals already renegotiated this deal, which they don't do, to be fair. They already renegotiated. They gave him more money, more guarantees on a renegotiated year 2 years ago. So he added an extra year. Had he not done that, he would have been a free agent last year after getting 17 and a half sacks, and he could have either raised the roof on the Bengals or signed with another team and made a shit ton of money. So you shouldn't have renegotiated. Now you want to renegotiate again after having a big season. I totally get that. I really, really do. But you're not dealing from a spot here. So it's become kind of contentious, and it's good to see a white player doing this instead of a black player, because that this would be completely different if he was black. And, putting the pressure on the Bengals. They're like, hey, I want more money. The Bengals, I think, agree that he should get more money.
Right. I think the Bengals, the Bengals believe he should get more money. I don't know. I think he wants to be in the early to mid 30s at least.
Yeah.
And he's making 18 this year.
And he's also, but he's also in the early 30s, which is the NFL cliff.
Right.
And I'm sure the Bengals are hesitant of that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I understand. Like I said, my 50-something-year-old self is like, yeah, I don't want to pay you $35 million.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, maybe 25, but I can't give you 35.
Yeah, I can't either. And And again, I think the contract has been agreed to except for the guarantees. Like, Mike Brown even said it in the Mock Turtle Soup lunch conference or news conference or whatever. They thought they were close. He was supposed to do an interview on like some other Bengals podcast, and he canceled that because he thought that, it was going to get signed. It was like a week ago.
Right.
And then he posted that he had gone to Florida, to not be a distraction.
Right.
And then this past week he shows back up, because he wants to be a good teammate. Again, tea leaves would tell you
he wants his $19 million.
right. Well, yeah, but he's also getting fined
Yeah, right.
$50,000 a day, so he's already lost like $250,000. And
He
as
gonna
I,
get that money back, dude.
I
But you're right. Look,
that's not
the long story short,
yeah.
I wouldn't be. He wants his money. That's we go back to the big or football players have the worst union.
Yeah.
And they spend up their money and they all end up broke 5 minutes later.
Correct.
Get that money now, and if I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing for Pittsburgh next year.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. But the Bengals have messed themselves up in this whole process, including with Jamar, maybe not Burrow as much, but they let other teams keep setting the market, and then it just keeps raising the price. You could have gotten 2 seasons ago, probably at like $22 million a year.
That's the same number I had, about 22.
Right, and then you fucked around and did it, and now you wind up having to pay him 25, 26, 27. Like you set the market yourself so you don't have to. So they probably could have gotten Trey for probably 28 or less, 25, if they had just gone ahead and done it. But they just waited and waited and waited, and now you're going to wind up having to pay him 30, 32. And you're not even sure if he's going to fall off.
You could have paid. You could have
got Jamar
too. Right. You could have got all of them and saved at least between all of them $20 million. If you'd have paid them then, and they'd be less bitching and moaning.
Yeah.
And the cap keeps going up, and they'd have been a better deal.
Yep.
Better deal. Yeah.
So Trey is, fuck you, pay me. I'm back. I'm leaving. Like, I mean, it's a whole soap opera with this dude. And again,
and next year, and when this all happens again next year, granted, we're not going to do that much in free agency, but people are watching.
But ain't no they ain't gonna sign anybody. But there is no next year because when Goat Killer, we're talking about this. There's nobody to pay. Like at this point, like there's no. You're gonna have to make a decision on Dax Hill. You got to make a decision on Myles Murphy. You're gonna have to make a decision. But unless they come out and become absolute superstars in a year that they need to, you're not paying them any money. You're gonna let them walk.
All right,
they'll get a reasonable
Myles
contract.
Murphy ain't getting no.
You know what I'm saying? But they're gonna get a reasonable contract. If Myles Murphy goes out and gets 6 sacks or whatever, okay, whatever, we can pay you a reasonable deal. If he goes out and gets 12 sacks, he's gone anyway, and they're not gonna be able to afford it. Like that's just it. You just drafted Shamar Stewart. There's the replacement. So like it really depends, but there's nobody for them to pay. That's why it's just bullshit. Like with Trey, like just give this man 2 extra years and $30 million and be done with it. Like because he's gonna be gone here soon anyway, and he's gonna be 33. He might not make it that far anyway. So it's interesting.
Murphy's under contract for 26.
He should be because he was drafted after Dax Hill.
Right, he was drafted in 23.
They have to make the
23, so yeah.
Yeah, they have to make the 5th-year option thing on him at the end of the year, which they declined for Dax Hill because it was actually $13 million. And honestly, if he does play well, you probably should have picked it up because you're not going to get a decent corner for $13 million. But look, man, I think people get this confused all the time. The Bengals got money. They just don't want to spend it.
They definitely got money now.
Yeah, they just don't want to spend it. Like they're very frugal about it. But if you come to the Bengals and you play and you do what you're supposed to, they're going to give you the money. They're going to make you kind of beg for it, but which is a part of the family part of it, part of them being frugal or whatever. But I'm watching Micah Parsons, who's a damn superstar, having to beg for his money from an absolute billionaire. Right. And it's just like part of the league. I just think a part of this is negotiating
They
for
want
future.
you to bet. Unfortunately,
Well,
Bengal or football players have the crappiest union,
yeah.
and they got the crappiest players association. I mean, they're the people that are supposed to be helping them out is stealing money from them left and right. There's collusion. They just
Mm-hmm.
it's awful.
No, in the same breath too, basketball here, and again, basketball. Oh, if a player he makes the All Star team, he's guaranteed like a super max or something like that. He can get the max contract or whatever. So that's not negotiable, but you can negotiate like how the money gets done or whatever. But they're just like, all right, you eligible for 4 years, $180 million. Here you go, sign it. Like I think the NFL, rightly, wrongly, or indifferently, is trying to be like, okay, yeah, we're going to give you this money, but can I get some parameters? Can I post date a check? Can I like do something to get around paying all that money up front? Which just makes all the sense in the world. Like I'm not saying you're not going to get your money. I'm just saying the parameters on how you're going to get it, and that's what the Bengals are doing with Trey. You're going to get your damn money. And there's no chance he's playing on that old contract, and there's no chance he's holding out. He'll be there. He'll be ready. Does he need to go to trading camp, man? Honestly, no. Like, just go get the damn quarterback, whichever freaking 5 quarterbacks that the Browns roll out there.
35 sacks in 2 years.
Yeah, come on, man.
It was
He'll
for
be fine.
one person.
Yeah, he'll be fine. So whatever. All right. Yeah, I'm tired. I get sick of hearing about Trey Henderson, man. Just you shouldn't have signed a damn extension.
You ain't heard nothing from me. I knew he was gonna play. I just thought they'd kick him at least another $5 million by now.
Just don't. I'm just he shouldn't have signed a damn extension. That's basically where I'm at. You shouldn't have done that. All right. So about 6 weeks from opening kickoff in Cleveland, Bengals about a 5.5, almost a touchdown favorite on the road in Cleveland. Who the hell knows who they're going to roll out at quarterback in that particular game? I get the sense that they don't know either. So in the sense like, yeah, that's good for the Bengals, but historically tells you that's not good for the Bengals. That to not know what's going to be a rookie or whatever like that. It's just not historically.
And the Browns definitely know what we're going to be probably.
Right.
I wonder what we're going to do with two $20 million receivers and a $45 million quarterback.
In the same breath, they lost their one of their starting cornerbacks to the Achilles. They're in preseason here. 2 of their linebackers are out. Joke is out for the season, and their other linebacker retired. Like it's setting up all these things. Again, if they're gonna roll out old man Joe Flacco out there, it's a mess. But they still got Myles Garrett. That can always be a problem. And that's pretty much it. But yeah, 6 weeks out. Bengals again, almost touchdown favorites. So what are you excited about thus far? I know you don't listen to pods, so you've been getting everything either from the group chat or from reading on news, internet, or whatever. Anything you're excited about?
The thing I watch and look at and whatever I go to them
betting sites. Okay. What's the over under on the Bengals?
You know what? I haven't looked at that recently, but I'm about to. I think it's
probably 9,
9.5.
Mm-hmm. Not that I know anything about gambling, but
right. We don't endorse it, but it sure makes it more fun if you win. So yeah, it's got to be. It has to be 9.5. If it's 9.5, I'm nervous.
Yeah. So just based on again podcast, Twitter, X, Blue Sky, whatever, social media, whatever, I think there are some things to be excited about. And probably the weirdest thing to be excited about is that the defense is actually holding up a little bit against the offense. They're having their opportunities. They're making some plays on them, and I think that's an exciting thing to be with the Bengals right now, just coming off of how bad it was. And again, we're talking about last season, but it was bad 2 seasons ago too, and it was going to be bad. It just the season got, kiboshed because of Burrow's wrist injury. But like I think there's an opportunity. I think, there's a new freshness or whatever to it under our golden system or whatever. I think the players are confident in that. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Breaking. Yeah, the Bengals are 10.5 wins.
Yeah.
Oof.
I mean, we didn't do, our normal post-draft or post-schedule release thing. We didn't do the win-loss thing or whatever. And I think we'll do it for the follow-up for this so we can get Sandman involved.
He'll get in there.
And Goat Killer. But, you can't imagine You
Yes,
can't
sir.
imagine that the offense is going to be worse or significantly worse. I mean, again, is he going to throw 44 touchdowns and Jamar be triple crown? No, that's not going to happen.
Oh,
But they shouldn't be significantly worse. The defense and can't really. There's only like 3 teams that they could have been worse than. So it
right.
can't be much worse. It could, but it can't. It can't be
Oof,
significantly worse.
oof.
So I guess there's it's really on the next slide. Like I think that's an exciting bit that the defense could be better. Like that's an exciting part to this whole process. And again, watching training camp, it is good to see them actually going at each other, and being competitive instead of people just rolling out 7-on-7s. They're doing more 11-on-11 drills, now Hutch that 7-on-7 is just pitch and catch. They're doing more 11-on-11. They're more 11-on-11 in pads as well, to try to increase the level of competition. When you put the pads on, everybody wants to get hit and all of that. And it's gotten chippy. I seen T take a huge shot yesterday from Geno Stone. Dax, I think, bumped Jamar, on something. It was a little more of a love tap, but I mean, he hit him. It wasn't, he didn't lay off too much. I mean, I think that will help with them trying to get ready for
Well, yeah,
being ready for the
I
start.
did see. Oh damn! I just saw number one. He
Jamar,
did that one-handed touchdown catch. I
oh, in the
mean,
back
yeah,
end.
that
Yeah.
right. That
Mm-hmm.
was a big highlight,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, that's showing off. So yeah,
And
he should take a little bit of something.
And then again, we didn't even talk about it because it is kind of breaking news. The Bengals did sign Noah Fant,
Yeah. Oh
tight
yeah,
end
that
from the Broncos or
or
the
Seattle,
Seahawks.
wasn't
Yeah, Seahawks at this point. And I mean, he can catch, he can
he?
block, he can run
He's
after the
damn
catch.
good.
Yeah,
He
he's pretty
was
good.
damn
He
good.
had an opportunity to sign with the Dolphins and New Orleans, but he said no. Came to the Bengals on I think it's like a $3 million contract, 1 year.
One
I
year,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, but
Prove it.
Burrow gets tight ends paid. Hayden Hurst, C.J. Uzama. I mean, he gets them paid. Hell, Mike Gesicki, who's not technically is a tight end, but I mean, he gets them paid. So, why not take your chance here and prove yourself, get your money. He has more of a blocking and catching situation better than any of the other tight ends on the roster. So he does practice at the evening practice last night. So practice. He caught that.
That'll definitely, if he can fit into the offense,
Right.
then right, he should be open because everybody else should be worried about them two wide receivers.
And that's the thing. And it's gonna be here. So some of the camp highlights, and I got whatever. So Evan McPherson looking back to normal because he really lost games last year. He signed this contract extension himself, and then if you listen to him or read anything about him, he was he tried to change his kicking motion for some reason, and that didn't help. He legitimately lost games for the Bengals, legitimately, and that's a problem. And I know there was an issues with the long snapper and the holders and who's the punter, like all of those things or whatever. So he had I think the first like 5 days of camp, he hadn't missed any kick. And then last night, and that's why I have the asterisks up here. Last night in the stadium, he missed the last two, both at 55 or 56. But I mean, we had grown accustomed to the first 2 years of him making those kicks that like 55 yarders were like automatic for him.
All right, he was
Like we
money
were,
McPherson.
yeah, we were definitely spoiled on that. So because that changes the entire offense. Because if you get stuck at the 35 and you can't get there, whatever, you know what, rolling him out for 52 for an automatic three is a thing. Now you might want to have to take
You
a
might
different
have to
stance
go
because
for
you're
you.
not
If it's
sure. Yeah,
fourth and three,
yeah, you
you
might
might have
not
to go
sure.
for it.
Right, yeah. So hopefully he gets back. Again, I said it before, defense playing well against the offense, really flying around out there. Young dudes make fast mistakes and old dudes make slow ones. Yeah, you'd rather make a fast mistake than a slow one at this point. Joe Burrow said he's throwing the ball better than he ever has. That's kind of scary
Right, because
as a thought.
that is scary. Like,
Yeah.
how much better can you? I mean, hopefully that's all true.
But think about it. This is his first real off season ever.
Hmm.
Think about it. COVID, ACL, uh,
Appendix.
appendix, calf, the calf strain, wrist. This is it. This is his first season where he doesn't have anything, coming into it, which is pretty crazy too. Health, that's the other positive highlight. Not, and again, I jinxed myself completely. So Mike Gesicki, tight end, pulls up lame on a route last night. I think it's a hamstring. Not no sure of the severity yet. They practice again today at 12 as we're recording. So we'll get an update on Mike Gesicki at that time, maybe even before we end recording here. Another positive, that was one of the weird offseason signings. The TJ Slayton, they signed him from Green Bay as their nose tackle. If you remember 2 seasons ago or 1 season ago, they let DJ Reader go. Everybody was upset. Right. He was on the backside of 30, and then when he got to Detroit, guess what? He was old and hurt and didn't play, but I think maybe 12 of the 17 games.
And Detroit gave up points in bunches.
Yeah, I mean, so the Bengals again. Nobody ever give them being right on the right ones. They were probably right because again, he was on the wrong side of 30. So they signed this dude, and everybody's been praising him as like, hey, he's beating up the middle of the line. It'll be on the next side where that could possibly be a problem too. But he's holding up against the run, giving a little bit of juice in pass rush, even though he's not known for that. Like as the starting nose tackle, defensive tackle, and that was needed because them defensive tackles we rolled out last year between BJ Hill and the dude who had meningitis or whatever that almost died, Sheldon Rankins. Yeah, that was really a part of the problem. And then 2 rookies behind them, that was definitely not good.
And they were on the field way too much.
Way too much was also didn't help. So yeah, TJ Slayton. I talked about Shamar Stewart, and I sent that out in the group chat. His first practice, like a sack and 2, knockdowns or whatever in the first practice.
Right, he was
like whoa,
right,
whoa.
He's according to them things. Yeah. He's gonna be the next coming of I don't know.
Yeah, with that.
We ain't had nobody like that in 10, 15
we
years.
ain't had nobody like that ever. I mean, at the close, Carlos Dunlap, maybe. And he ain't even as close to being the athlete that he is. And Dunlap was a freaking insane athlete himself. So, so Shamar Stewart. And then we got to talk about this. I'm going to go to my grave on this one.
Oh, boy.
Y'all can get me on. Jermaine Burton.
It's crazy. But
last season.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But he's crazy. But he has the talent to be one of the best things ever.
Yes. Wild ass yellow boy, as the nickname used to be for some from the neighborhood that we grew up in. Right. So he has first round talent.
He does.
5th round brain. He drafted in the 3rd. There's your average. Last year, he didn't take it seriously. He just flat out was immature. I think he would admit that. Doing all the shit that you could. I know you get 2 eviction notices from 2 different places when you're making a decent check like that. Dating, got caught. It was used like to hang out in the casinos, from what I hear or heard, and then had this incident with a underage girl. To be fair, I mean she's 18, I think, but you're 22. He has an incident with this underage girl or whatever that almost turned into a domestic violence that somehow got squashed because money. I'm sure.
Right.
So he decided to, TJ Houshmandzadeh is his mentor. And I whether they had a talk, whether it was like you're embarrassing yourself, whether the Bengals hired, a fall guy, whatever, he's come in. They said, he was essentially doing the Chad Johnson, like sleeping at the facility, probably because he didn't have another place to stay. Nigga, damn. And
then, well, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. And then, he was there. He was all, just doing all his work, and that's paying off on the field. Like, he has a first. If he had come in and played well, they wouldn't have re-signed T because they were like, hey, this dude's got first-round talent. He can stretch the field.
And that's the other thing. I want to throw this in here somewhere. Mm-hmm. But college football ain't producing shit on defense.
Right.
And they're not. The only thing that college football is putting out these days, consistently and really good, is wide receivers.
Yeah. And he's good. I mean, he was good at he went to Alabama and Georgia was the other school as well. Like, I mean, he
hit all the spots.
Yeah, he's a very good wide receiver. And so, and again, in the preseason, you kind of saw it a little bit, but now he's come back, and you got to earn Joe Burrow's trust, and
Right.
he's name checking him like, and then Andre Yosivas should be on here too because but Burton has the ability to be at a minimum a number two on a team,
Man.
and now you're on a team that has 2 1s essentially. Yosivas, who has the trust of the quarterback. So if they run four wide and you have your fourth corner on Jermaine Burton, good luck. He's going to it's not
Should
even
eat
eat.
you alive.
It's not even eating. He's going to feast. Oh, you have your safety on Jermaine Burton? Good luck. So if there's a world where he has put it together and he understands what his role is, and my thing as always, how do you handle success? It's easy to get to that point, but man, when people are blowing your freaking balls all the time, like that's when it's really hard to stay humble. But if he can handle that part of it, and he's your fourth wide receiver, the Bengals are going to be in four wide. I mean, they're going to be in five wide because Gesicki's going to be in the slot. Man, good luck. The offensive line just has to hold up barely at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if Jermaine Burton is anywhere close to being a dude, yeah, they're going to score a lot of points. I still don't know if they can stop anybody, but they're going to score a whole bunch of points like they already did last year. So those are some of the highlights. Like I can't, from all the things that I've seen, watched, and heard, they're really big on this TJ Slayton dude. So hopefully he stays healthy to play nose tackle for them. And again, they slowly built up a little bit of depth. It's just how good is the depth? If it's TJ Slayton and BJ Hill are your starters. Now you have McKinley Jackson and what's the dude from school up north they drafted last year, Chris Jenkins, as your backups, which is what they should have been last year instead of playing so many snaps. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's like, oh, now you have a wave of defensive tackles that you can be running in, and now you have Shamar Stewart, Trey Hendrickson, Cam Sample is back. Like there's probably the defensive end spot is a little bit thin, but at least you have some dudes. I don't know.
I hope, like I said here, I mean, it's a
Sorry.
delicate. I mean, you got to worry about the injuries, and you
Yeah,
can't have them out there too long either.
yeah, yeah.
So that means you can't score really fast.
That's what I was just about to say. That could be the thing with the Bengals be putting the defense in bad situations because of. Oh, and then Chase Brown is not on here too, and he's might be a cheat code too because the games that when they finally were like, hey, this dude's pretty good, at
And
running
by
back.
Mr. Moss.
Yeah, he got cut this week from his broken neck, and then
Right.
they really and on the podcast I listened to this morning, they were really big on Taj Brooks, the 6th or 7th round running back that they picked. Like they're like he's just making plays, like every time catching, like run game, pass game, like he's just making plays, like even to the point where they were like,
and we brought back Sanji or the
Samwise Ganji, yes, or Samaje P. Ryan if you're a long time listener, but
right.
yes, they did bring him back too. And they were
So I
talking
mean, the offense on paper. Well,
on
actually,
paper.
we know the offense in real life should be
Yeah.
the shit. We know that
And
they're good.
And the issue has been I'm
Right.
sorry, but the issue has been the offense has not been good at the start of the season. It gets
Right.
better later. He gets much better later as the season goes on. We're trying to avoid that, and this is like whatever before we get to this last five.
that's coaching and motivation and
Right.
so you got it right. So we can't start the season off 1-3,
No.
0-4. So
No.
yeah, because
Nothing
again,
weird.
somebody
Yeah.
got to go.
Yeah. Correct. And so we get to this is the best part about it. Like what are the questions and concerns? I think everything is on the defense and then on the offensive line, the interior of the offensive line. I'll give my bit here about I think Ted Karras sucks. Like people like love him and and again, he's a community dude, he sells, his Cincy hats or whatever. He gives all the money to special needs kids. Like I'm not talking about the dude as a person. But the offensive player, man, I be seeing him getting pushed back a lot.
We don't even think about going for it on 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1 up the
Yeah.
gut
Not to run it. Yeah.
Right, not that well, and yeah, he gets blown up on pass plays too. But
Yeah.
we don't even if you get the Bengals on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1.
Good luck.
I mean, we're not running the ball. We're gonna we got to kick it or throw it, which is
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so I know there's the concerns about the interior offensive line. They feel they're fine at center, whatever.
Mm,
I don't. The two guards, a journeyman and a rookie. It's not a
right,
winning combination, man. And I think
right.
everybody outside of the organization is like, look, try to find a veteran guard. You should have done it in free agency. You didn't do it. So,
That
Brandon,
guy, the guy from the Lions, retired.
yeah, but Brandon Scherf is still out there.
Right.
Like I think it's debatable if he wants to play. I think is the issue if he's whatever. But he also ain't gonna want to do training camp. So
Dan, what in what world do you be like, man? I don't want to do this shit no more for 12, $15 million.
your body got to be beat all to be damned at that point.
I'm like, damn, just for
Yeah,
12, 50. I'm retired, man.
yeah,
And
it's got
fuck,
yeah.
fuck.
So he's out there. I think Willie Hernandez was a guard from the Cardinals that he was coming off an ACL, but he just got medically cleared. So I think there's some options for them out there. They said at the one-on-ones last night, Cordell Volson was getting beat like Kuta Kinte. So that's probably not a good idea to have him as one of your backup guards because he's ass awful. And, they still are rolling him out there as, the second team. So you might want to, they probably should look at trying to find a better guy. So that's an issue. Who's the starting quarterback opposite of Cam Taylor? Brett Hutch. Like, arachnoid. I have no idea at this point. Who's the other outside corner?
Them cornerbacks and that last four was tore, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I think CTB is a pretty decent corner. He's going into his free agent year too, so he's probably going to play well and he's probably going to be gone. And then this is the Bengals, the situation they put themselves in with Cam Taylor Britt being going into the last year of his contract, and then Dax Hill, since they declined the fifth year option, his is also his last year. My
Right.
thought is Dax is the other outside corner. The word on the street is that they might have put him in at the slot. I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea. Like I think they haven't decided on who's the other outside corner. DJ Turner, who they drafted from school up north, the same year they drafted not Dax Hill, the same year they drafted, he's like his third year. And
dude from Wisconsin.
he's little, man. No, that's
right. They're
little.
small.
Yeah.
They can't tackle.
Yeah.
You are asking for it.
Well, CTB used to be able to tackle, and then last year he got benched. He lost his confidence or whatever.
Right.
Dax tore his ACL. DJ Turner tore his collarbone.
Right.
Like it's just all
these dudes that they played against was better than them in college, and they're gonna be better than them in the pro.
Right.
And they're taller, faster, stronger. Ugh, it's not good.
So that's a concerning to me. Like I said, Dax I thought played okay before he got hurt. CTB was bad. And then, like I said,
and the other thing is that you fucking practicing versus Jordan and Kobe every day.
Well, but that should make you better.
That should make you better, but that should also destroy your confidence.
Yeah, it's not like
one hand catching on you and all this stuff.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to be going against anybody weekly that are going to be better than them.
Right there. Everybody is taller, bigger, faster.
Yeah.
On the Bengals, and you got Burrow. I'm on Burrow, damn, you're calling shots. I'm gonna throw it to Chase, and you can't do a damn thing about it.
Right. And so that's gonna be it. Is the defense actually better? Like, what's a reasonable expectation? Do you think? Again, they ranked. I think they finished the year at 28 overall.
I'm on the stat sheet now.
But I think maybe they were last.
They gave up points against 25.5, tied for 25th.
25th.
Points for, they were 6th.
Mm-hmm.
But they
total yards. What's total yards?
Total yards given up?
Yes.
Wait, I ain't got to that stat.
So total yards given up, points was 25th. Overall rank, I think the overall rank was 28.
So they gave up total 5,921 yards.
That was 32.
Something like that. Wait a minute. I had the Colts gave up 6,000. There's some teams gave up 6,000 yards.
Holy shit! Yeah, okay. So, but they were in the
They were that
ballpark.
right. Was nobody right in my fantasy league when nobody picked up the Bengal defense? That shit was always there.
That's what I'm saying. So they're a bottom. Let's call it a bottom 5 defense.
Bottom 5,
What's
6,
a
17.
What's a reasonable expectation for them to be? New coordinator, fresh system.
Having a new coach don't help technically. And what we do know about him is that he kind of ran the same defense.
Yeah, but I can't imagine them running single high as much as they did at Notre Dame. So, because that's not a winning combination in the NFL.
Right. I mean, you right, but we're gonna still do that 5-2-4.
I think he has talked about more running a standard 4-3. So I don't think that you're going to get these exotic looks.
Right, so. And the 5-2 was getting lit up like a star last year, running and passing.
Yep.
So I mean, hopefully, if we're in the middle of the pack, like I said, there's nobody in the AFC other than the Texans has a decent defense.
Yeah, I say if they could finish like 18th. Something like that, maybe out right inside the 20. They're a playoff team for sure, barring anything on whatever on offense or whatever.
Please don't end up in freaking third place in the AFC North.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
or worse.
I think they could if they could do that. I think a reasonable expectation is be like in the top 20. Anything above that it would be gravy, and anything inside of that, like inside of 15, they're probably a Super Bowl contender. So
maybe this is a good stat. The other teams got 361 first downs on us. Only 2 other teams are worse than that.
Wow. Yeah.
And that was the Jaguars and the Panthers.
Who picked first or second and fifth or
something sixth, like that. They picked before us in the top 10 definitely.
Yeah. And what's the difference between those two teams? Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's the only reason that they were in games to begin with, because without him having that particular season, they are top probably 7-10 draft team too.
And the only other team on there that in the bottom giving up first downs that was in the playoffs was the Bills.
Yeah.
The rest of these crumb bums was all picking ahead of us in the draft.
And that's it. Okay. I mean, well, that's it, really, y'all. We're
that's a good primer. We play the Eagles on Thursday. Well, we're on the field with the Eagles. We don't play them. We're on the field with them.
Yeah, their game is on Thursday, nationally televised. That was my last point. That Joe Burrow has been itching to play in preseason games, and he did last year. Where all he did was hand off. He didn't throw it.
Right.
I would imagine that he's going to play a little bit.
Right.
I was trying to explain to Goat Killer. The young don't understand. I'm like, in the past, because now there's only 3 preseason games, so this is your second preseason game. Your second preseason game, your starters used to play like a half. Like at least a quarter, and then come out in the second quarter for a drive and then hang it up. Right. Now, like, people did one possession and then you're done. Like, yeah, if you're somebody that needs snaps or feels that you need snaps to whatever, then you need to go. I said I wouldn't. He's like, they'll probably only play like a series or 2. I was like, I won't be surprised if they played a quarter and give them an opportunity to go out there. It wouldn't surprise me. The Eagles ain't gonna play any of their people past the quarter.
Right, they ain't playing none of their folks. They ain't gonna be happy. Yeah. They happy. So right. Yeah, they shouldn't. I mean, it's just go out there. Don't
get hurt.
Play. Don't get hurt.
Yep, that's pretty much all it is. Try to run a couple.
And don't go to the bar.
Yep.
Don't be going to the bars. Don't be doing that
keep
dumb
your
shit.
Burden under wraps.
Yeah, this is a business trip.
Yep. So we'll come back with it. We'll come back with our win-loss thing. Yeah, we'll do the win-loss bit. Like we haven't done that. And, we'll get Sandman's predictions in, and then Goat Killer as well, and kind of see where we lie. I know who they play. I know I still kind of wanted to do the opening. games, home
I
things.
waited. Like I said, I mean, I just looked at that win-loss total. I have not made a trip to the shrine yet.
Yeah.
To put down my predictions yet.
Yeah, I was like, I was thinking that I still, like I said, I still want to do the home opener bit. Like I kind of do. I don't know, it's a lot of money.
What
but
the Jungle Gym visit?
The home opener, because I mean, again, we have a 2-year streak here, 0-2 though, also. So maybe not. But it is against the Jags, who in theory, probably are going to be bad in theory. But I don't want to jinx it, so I ain't gonna do it. I don't want to spend the money. So,
right,
but it's just
$2,000 or $3,000.
But I think we'll know like about the Bengals within the first 4 games. I couldn't tell you who those 4 games were, but like you kind of get a sense like within the first. Like again, I watched that shit live. I knew they were gonna be bad. I was like, this is bad, and it was bad. And you didn't get that from the preseason or whatever, but like you could tell.
I was like, there ain't no. Right.
No chance
they had
those
Challenger series or elimination series of shit, and damn near most of the people picked the Bengals to beat the Patriots week 1 easily, a 9.5 point spread easily, and that shit. That took out 33% of the people in this Eliminator Challenge. And I was one of them. My shit was done at 4 o'clock on week 1 of the season.
Should have been there live. It was not great. So, all right. So you want to do exit music? We used to do that as a thing. What you got?
I had September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. Is
that too early? Use that so a little bit. All right, we can do that though. All right. So if you're on the podcast,
was the first thing came to my mind. So
you'll hear September because we're itching to get to that point to get this season started. You can find I haven't said this in a long time. You can find this podcast on. I mean, some of these businesses are out of business now.
Damn, that's
Google,
true.
Google. You go on Google Play, SoundCloud, Apple Pods. If you have an Alexis device, if you play the Brothers Comics podcast, it'll come right up. So wow, it's crazy. It's so many. Peace out, Stitcher. All right, so as a producer, I'm gonna sign off to the Melodic Tunes of Earth, Wind, and Fire, who are still touring, by the way, and
I don't know who's left.
Well,
other than I think Mr.
Philip Bailey.
Philip Bailey's left.
That's it.
I'm still with us, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's a different podcast for us. But like, how y'all still touring? Like, I saw somewhere the Commodores were supposed to be in here. I was like, the Commodores?
Without Lionel Richie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, who the fuck is in the Commodores now? Fuck, who was in the Commodores before you?
But all of them are like that. Yeah. Everybody's on a farewell tour. Yeah. And I mean, and they're asking for $200 or $300.
Yeah,
easy.
Exactly. Yeah,
right. And I'm like, and Phil Collins was sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
For the whole Ozzy Osbourne, rest in peace, was sitting in a chair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Peebo Bryson pulls his 5-year-old son out to be up there singing.
Right there, Meal. Wow.
I'm like, man, and what was that? What's it? Justin Timberlake. The fans are singing more than he is.
Yeah, he just came out. He had Lyme disease or something. So,
Lyme. I mean, right? And I mean, Paul McCartney, $500 seats.
Nice. Okay. All right. So we are out. And we will see y'all, relatively soon. We'd rather definitely record after this freaking preseason game. Hopefully in this practice, and hopefully Mike Gesicki is all right moving forward here. And
Miles Murphy. I hope Miles Murphy is. I'm gonna be I'm motivated. I'm gonna get 10 sacks this year.
There you go. Hopefully something, anything. Get that money, son. All right. So as a producer and Hutch is signing off. We'll see y'all on the other side. Peace, everybody.
Peace. Who day.